Well, hello and welcome to the Revived Yarns podcast, which I'm reviving. What was I called before? Now I don't remember. Sweaters into sweaters or something like that. Anyway, the last time I did this, my daughter was a toddler, so it's been a while because she's in kindergarten this year. My son is in middle school, and I am so glad that they are back full time. The last 18 months has been interesting, all over, I suppose. But yeah, I decided to start this back up again because, I love watching podcasts and I love sharing about what I'm doing. So, and I don't have any in real life knitting friends that we talk about knitting anyway. So I will just get started. I finished a ton of things, obviously, since my last podcast, and bought a ton of things and started new hobbies, but I'm not going to list everything. So most recent or I guess biggest accomplishments, because I started spinning again from wool. So I'll start with actually what I'm wearing. This is the Este t-shirt or tee or something by Justina Lorkowska. And it's a size large, I believe, though I'm not positive if my gauge was on a size 5 needles. And it's an unraveled linen in brown and a green cashmere. Just a single thread or maybe 2 threads. It's been a while since I knit it. But I just threw it on because it's one of my lighter weight sweaters and wanted to wear something knitted. So, recent finished objects is this shawl behind me hanging up that was hand spun by me, or actually my e-spinner. The Playful Pattern by Meg Gadsby, size 7 needles. The yarn was the colorful yarn. Here was a Targhee braid that I got from Edgewood Garden Studios on Etsy. And I spun it in a fractal. So I broke it in half and then spun one half straight through, I believe, or one half I split and in two and did one after another. And then the other half I split a ton of times. So I had a ton of repeats of the color. But it still kind of goes through a little bit evenly, even with the fractal spin. And then the brown is a corriedale that I bought originally for needle felting, which I've also picked up. And I totally forgot to bring any of my needle felting projects up here with me. So I bought the corriedale in brown just for needle felting. And then when I decided to start spinning actual yarn, I just spun it up as practice, and it turned out pretty well. And yeah, it was a really fun pattern, super easy garter stitch, simple increases, and then I don't remember if there were decreases now. So that was a great way to use up the hand spun too, because it just showcases the yarn. There are no any patterning or anything, just garter stitch forever. And then another recent one, also with hand spun, is this. It's not all the way finished, but it's for my daughter, and it is this black or dark is merino and recycled sari silk that I bought from, I think it was just on Amazon. Living Dreams yarn was what it was called. And then I spun that up, and you probably can't even see because I plied it with a dark green merino that I unraveled. And it's so dark that it just blends into the black and all the colors. Because it was too much to ply it with itself, like too busy. And also then I wouldn't have had enough yarn to make anything because I think it was only 4 ounces. And then I striped it with unraveled and plied together cashmeres. So this was a super hot pink from, I think it was like a t-shirt sweater. And I applied it so it's a DK weight. And then the purple was another one, I think also a t-shirt sweater. You really don't get, I mean, it's a lot of yarn because the strands are so thin, but once you apply them, you don't really have enough. So I had just single balls of those. I don't think I weighed them. And they striped really well with this. The purple kind of almost blends in because it's all so dark. But it stretched the yarn further because I don't think I have very much of this left. I've got random balls in the bottom of here. I don't think I had more than this left, so that was pretty good. And then some of the pink. I think I have more purple left than anything else. So because I used the pink to do brioche ribbing, almost too loose. I kind of wish I'd done it tighter. I think I used a size 6 for the brioche ribbing and a 9 for the rest of the cardigan. But I probably could have gone down even more. I'm kind of a loose knitter, especially with brioche. So I did those, and then, oh, this was a total hack of the Flax sweater that I turned into a cardigan, striped, did different ribbing. So I don't know at what point that you can stop calling it the Flax sweater because it's so different. But I used those counts for the sizes to figure out the size, I think 6 to 8 size I used. And I need to do closure still on it because my daughter doesn't really like having an open cardigan. But I don't know what to do because I did this nice, beautiful brioche ribbing. I thought about putting a zipper in, but I think that might look weird with how it connects. Also, if I also ripped this out already once or twice maybe, because I'd originally done the whole cardigan, the whole top, bottom, and sides all at once. Look at that beautiful, oops, increased corner. I'm pretty proud of that. I only just started brioching recently and really like it. It's way easier than I thought it would be. So I still need to do closures for this. Possibly I'm going to do snaps. I did another cardigan for her and had snaps, and she's able to close it without problem. Of course, she rarely reaches for her handspun because they're in a bottom drawer that she never looks in, or her hand knitted stuff. I really should move it to where she can actually see it, or I can see it so I remind her to wear it. So that was those, and I am just gonna pause and go get. Okay, I went and got the felted things that I wanted to show, and also another cardigan that I finished for me that I forgot to grab. So I'll do the cardigan first. So this one was a huge project for me. I'd seen a couple of braids on Etsy, and I don't think I actually ever wrote down where it was from. Excuse me. So the braid went from this dark or brownish thing through these colors to the yellow and the gray. And I saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing for a cardigan. So I bought these 2 braids, and it total was like a pound of fiber. And I'm still a new spinner, and also because I've done so much recycled yarn, when I start a knitting project, it's more of a like, let's see if this works. And I do the gauge, and I start knitting, and we'll see what happens. So I spun this up. I did it to try and keep the fade or gradient. I don't know, when does it become a gradient and fade? Anyway, to keep it, of course, together, so it wasn't fractal or anything. And then I started knitting it, and I was like, wow, I didn't actually consider the fact that I have to do sleeves, because I think I had 3 of, I don't know, I had the way that I'd spun it, I was thinking, okay, I'll alternate these and then just go, I thought I was going to be able to go from the dark or the yellow through to the dark and then back to the yellow at the bottom. But I totally didn't have enough yarn. It's like a bulky weight, and I completely underestimated the amount of yarn that I would need. So I ended up going and getting this gray, which is a Merino and silk. So this one's BFL in silk. And it's super soft and cozy. And I just love how it faded, but I had to rip it out a few times because I realized that I didn't have enough. And the braids were like clearanced out, so she wasn't going to be dyeing those anymore. So I decided to start, and I chose the Asheville pattern by the Noble Thread because she includes the front bands in it, so you don't have to pick up later, because I wanted those to be a gradient as well. So I just did them all. I alternated the skeins throughout, and then kind of they weren't, of course, exactly perfect, but I think it worked pretty well for the fading them in. And then I just did the sleeves until I ran out of the gray at the end, and the body. And then I just added in this one, which I was not very smart, and started spinning them up. And I would spin up a ball and think, this should be enough, right? So I would knit that, and then I was like, no, this is not enough. I don't have enough, so I have to spin more. And I think I spun a total of 6 to 8 ounces. So it took a while because I kept having to stop knitting to spin more. The gauge is slightly different. You can totally tell there. Also, the yarn feel is a little bit different too. But I think it worked out great. I really like it, though the neckline was too big. One of my biggest problems, I think, with knitting sweaters is the neckline. See, even this one, I put an I-cord, not an I-cord. I went down like lots of needle sizes and just did a few rows of stockinette, so it curls a little bit, like a faux I-cord, to bring it in a little bit because it was way too big. So I really need to start a much smaller size and then increase for shoulders and bust and everything faster maybe. So I did a little crochet seam here, and that still wasn't enough. So then I took some elastic thread that I had in my stash somewhere and went through and just threaded it through to pull in that ribbing a lot. So now it fits much better. I also wanted to add pockets, but I forgot until it was too late. So I might cut them in at some point. I do not have any yarn left. I think I have a ball like this size left of the Merino silk gray at the end. So we'll see what I do. I don't know yet. I also don't have any closures on it, so maybe I should do snaps for me, because I didn't do buttonholes because I wasn't sure how I was going to close it. Or maybe I should do it ribbing. Actually, or not ribbing, zipper, because that would look okay with zipper, I think. Never put a zipper though in a knit garment. Yeah, we'll see. I can wear it without a closure though, so that's fine. Okay, and then a new craft that I picked up is felting. And some of the really quick, easy projects I've done just recently are these adorable little felted pumpkins. This was just a bit of scrap spinning, but wow, that's really bright. It's not really that bright in person. It's super cute. They're still really soft. I didn't felt them really hard because they're just sitting on my mantle. And I did little white ones, and I actually have made way too many of these for the size of my mantle. And so I sent, I think, 5 to my sister. So she just got those. So yeah, they're just super fun and easy. I shared on my Instagram actually a time lapse of me felting them. That was really fun because they're really fast actually. Once you know have a plan. And then some of the bigger felting projects. He is super fuzzy because I haven't quite mastered the art of felting it firmly. I think I just don't stab it enough, probably. So my mom was visiting in the summer, I think. And she has always done vacation Bible school at the church where I grew up, or has done it for a long time. And she was doing a pirate theme, and she needed a parrot. She wanted a parrot to just sit on the set. So she was trying to find one to buy. And I was like, I bet I could felt a parrot. So I started felting it while she was here. And I totally finished it because the felting is so fast. And I had these eyes already in my stash. And his feet were so fun. There are so many tutorials of how to do felting techniques. With him, I kind of looked, he doesn't need wire inside his body because parrots are just big blobs. You can't even see his whole, I mean, he's huge. He's like actual parrot sized. They're just blobs really, but I did want him to be able to stand. So his feet are wire. I looked up how to do the wire bird's feet, and I don't remember what tutorial I used, but you bend them and then you just wrap fiber around and you use glue. I think I used tacky glue that I have had probably for 10 years. I don't know when I bought it. And they just look so good. And you can bend them around things. They're really sturdy, but he can totally stand up. Anyway, I took him back from her after she finished the VBS because he was kind of fuzzy and I wanted to try and felt him more. So I've done a little bit. I should probably do more. Also, my son thinks he's really cool and wants to dress up as a pirate when he gets him. And then after I did that, I thought, what else can I do? I have a bunch of red left over. So I made this baby dragon, which I'm not super happy with him because I kind of wanted his wings to be more posable, but I didn't put anything in them. I totally still could though. Felt is like, it's almost like painting. You can just keep adding stuff. Wow, he has a lot of lint on him. My daughter grabbed him out of the closet the other day and left him on the floor, and we've also got tons of stuff. I'll just add it back to the floor. So yeah, I think his face turned out really good. It was really fun to try and figure it out. And with felting, you can totally add details, and you can even take them away too, as long as it's not felted too hard. So yeah, that was, it was super fun to try. And he's pretty cute. And I felted a ton of little things that have been given away, or my daughter has claimed them and they are in the depths of her room. I also felted a Mothra for my son because he loves Godzilla. And the Mothra toys are just really thin, cheap plastic, and he really likes to bend things, to move them and see them moving. So the felted Mothra worked really well. I used pipe cleaners for the legs. And if it starts getting too fuzzy or the legs bend or whatever, I can just fix it. So those are all finished things and things I'm doing. I'm also weaving. I have a weaving project on right now, but I'm not loving it. I bought some yarn from Hobby for weaving because it's like a fade and it's a little too stretchy, and I warped the loom before realizing that, and so it's really not really enjoyable. So I need to either push through it or cut it off and throw the yarn out, which I don't want to do because once you warp your loom, you can't really reclaim that yarn. So I also started sewing because my mom gave me her old sewing machine. I have a basic knowledge of sewing. And she gave me her old sewing machine. I finally pulled it out because I needed, What did I get it out for originally? I don't remember now. Anyway, I looked up how to make some bags for project bags, and I used some of my woven, like I had experimented with this when I first got my loom, and it's cotton, but it wasn't big enough for dishcloths. It was a huge pain to weave because I'd warped the loom wrong, so it was like a struggle the whole time, so I didn't get very much. But I seriously love this. I also put a zipper in for the first time, except it's from a cardigan that I reclaimed, and I didn't really know about invisible zippers. And so I put it in wrong for an invisible zipper, and I just butchered a old pillowcase we had lying around for the lining. But it's perfect for the project bag. This has 2 skeins of yarn in it right now, so it's pretty big. I did the boxed bottom, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, box bottom. Super fun to do. So then I thought, well, I should do some drawstring ones. So I got this fabric out that I did from weaving. They were cones that I got from the Rag Finery in Bellingham. They do recycled textiles, yarn that people donate, saved from the landfill and stuff. And then I used a fat quarter. Oh, I got it out to make masks. I should have remembered that. The sewing machine. I got it out to make masks because my daughter was starting school. Masks are required, and I could not find kid-sized masks anywhere. It was like everyone thought the pandemic was over, and then stores were like, we don't need to order more masks. But then pandemic's not over. Kids need masks for school. Can't find any masks because she went to preschool last year, and masks weren't required for the preschool ages. So I had to make her masks. I made a ton of them. And I got a ton of fat quarters, way too many, because I saw all the cute patterns and I was like, I need these, and they're on sale if you buy a certain amount. So this is how fabric stashes start, I hear. So I use this fabric, and then this one for the drawstring casing. And then I used ribbon that I think actually was wrapped around some fiber I ordered. Reusing everything. Another box bottom. So this, I don't remember what I wove this for. I think I was thinking a baby blanket, but then it turned out to be super lightweight. Like you can see the stuff through it. It's an acrylic, I think, possibly with some wool in it, but not very much. So that one, and then I had a ton of that fabric because I made it for a blanket. So I made this giant thing, and I got remnants from the upholstery fabric and did the lining. So it's a little bit sturdier. This drawstring, I just did a one-sided. I have place I can do the 2-sided, but I did a really crappy job of making this drawstring out of the fabric, but that's fine. It works. And it's holding my whip. Work in progress. I think that's all the bags I brought up. Is that all the ones I've sewn, I think? Anyway, I want to sew more. I actually want to do present bags for Christmas because I got Christmas fabric at a thrift store because I've started my fabric stash, of course. I just started sewing. Why not start stocking up? So I'm doing the Andrea Mowry, what's it called? Cinnabar. So brioche on one side, garter on the other. This is a size 5 needles, and the light purple is Unraveled Cashmere from an Ann Taylor sweater. I didn't need to ply it because it was already thick. It's not a plied, it's just kind of loose and still a little bit wibbly wobbly because I didn't wash it. It'll block out. Everything blocks out, right? And then this fuzziness here is Cascade Luminosa. I bought 3 skeins on clearance. It's so soft. Like this thing is going to be so squishy. I don't really wear these colors though, but I think they're muted enough that I probably will because, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cozy. But this rows are getting so long now, and there it's brioche, so it takes a while. So it's kind of just sitting, and I kind of forget about it because it's in the project bag. Before I started making project bags, I didn't really use them at home. I only had a few that I would take projects on the go. But now that I have them, I'm using them, and then I don't see my projects. I mean, it's better than having them all sitting out in everybody's way, but you know. And then, oh, rustling, I have a cardigan project because I feel like I need more cardigans, more slightly neutral cardigans. Like the fade is a cardigan, but it's a little bit noticeable. Sometimes you want to go out and just not be noticed, really. At least I do. So I just separated for sleeves this morning. I'm making it up as I go along. I think I got the counts from another sweater pattern. So I'm doing this texture because normally I don't mind purl stitches, a whole row of pearls, but for some reason just stockinette back and forth was too much for me. So I did it so I knit on one side and the other side are knit and purl stitches. So it has like a texture on the inside and on the outside. I kind of wish I had this texture on the outside. And I could wear it that way, only then my nice increase would be purl bumps instead of knit. And I kind of like the knit, rows of knit for the increases. So I think I'm going to do a shawl collar on this one. It's going to be nice and cozy, easy to throw on. And yeah, it's not getting as much love and knitting time because I was watching a podcast and oh my gosh, I can't remember the name. It's a mother-daughter duo on the East Coast. That's all I remember. So they're doing a Stephen West Marled Mania pants knit along. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't need pants. Who needs knit pants? And then I thought of how many times we go to the beach in the winter time. I live in Northwest Washington. How many times we go to the beach in the winter time and we layer up and I'm cold still. My legs are always cold because women's pants, why don't they make them thicker? So I have like the Under Armour type pants to go underneath my stuff. And I thought, oh my gosh, knit pants would be perfect. So it's 2 strands of sock yarn. And I looked through all of the English notes for people who have made the pattern. And it was like universally, I had to change it because it was written for like straight bodies. And a lot of women's bodies are not straight. I hope I'm not wiggling this. So I thought, well, I don't really want to go by this pattern if I'm going to have to change it all anyway. So I did a gauge swatch. And I thought, okay, so this is how big around I need it. This is how many times I should increase to get it for my butt. And so I did that. And I don't remember how many I cast on. I think I put it in my project page. And I did really tight ribbing. So actually, I don't think I'll need to add elastic unless they stretch out a lot more than I expect. But they stretch quite a bit to go over my ample childbearing hips. No longer childbearing hips. And then I did a ton of short rows. Like these things are perfect over my butt. I kept trying them on and it like they seriously are perfect. They aren't super tight because I wanted some looseness. And I'm doing the legs at the same time. Oh, I'm totally caught around the parrot's neck. Sorry, parrot, I was strangling him. Legs at the same time. This is Paton's Kroy in Flax sock yarn, held with thrifted sock yarns that I don't always have the ball bands for. Though actually, this one that I used for the butt portion, I think was a DK because it's thicker than the rest of the pants, which is fine because it covers my butt. And then I moved on to some other kind, and then some other kind. And I didn't marl them because I'm already doing 2 strands of each on 2 legs at the same time, and I felt like marling was that was too much extra. So I'm getting actually close to, I'm decreasing right now for down at the ankles. So I'm doing fast decreases. They're going to be more like joggers because I want to be able to tuck them into my boots. So I'm decreasing quickly, and then I'm going to do ribbing, a lot of ribbing at the bottom probably, in just the flax. I just ordered more balls of the flax because I totally did not get enough. Though now I'll have too much because I ordered 4 balls and I don't think I'll need that much. But I also might do pockets, and those I will do in that as well. So I'll hold 2 strands together, do the ribbing, add some pockets, and I'm going to be done. And I'm going to be warm at the beach. And then I might have to make my daughter a pair because she's always cold as well. And little girl leggings are not usually very thick. I love it when I can find the fuzzy lined ones at the thrift store because I do a lot of thrift shopping for her, or I did. I finally am able to go back after the pandemic, but there was a while there that I was just ordering stuff because I couldn't go anywhere. So yeah. Oh, my cardigan. I totally forgot the yarn. I got Colormart cones at the thrift store. They had, I think, 4 cones, and it's a cashmere silk viscose merino DK weight. I took off the cones to wash because I did the swatch without washing it. That is not pleasant to knit with the spinning oils and stuff on it. So I skeined it all up, washed it, and then I'm holding it with a laceweight cashmere. I wanted to add a little extra softness and maybe some fluffiness. So yeah, man, I felt like a lot. Lots of things. My bed is a mess right now. I just recently put up these things as kind of a faux headboard. I'm not sure I like them. They, I don't know. I might take them down and rearrange them. That's a nice thing because they're just stuck up there with double-sided tape. So yeah, I can change them if I want to. So acquisitions, I really don't have much because I've been avoiding shopping because we have a lot of expenses coming up. We just had the plumber come, and that was a fix underneath our sink. We had to replace our water shutoff, which also the leak damaged the floor because I was really dumb and didn't turn off the water when it was leaking. I just put a bucket under it, and the bucket overflowed one night after 3 nights before that, not even filling up. So I'm very frustrated with myself and life in general. So our floor is damaged, so I also need to get quotes for reflooring, which was on our to-do list eventually anyway. Oh, we've bought a house since the last time I podcast. Before the pandemic, thank goodness, because otherwise we would never have been able to afford it with these ridiculous prices. And also the plumber suggested that we replace the main house water shutoff that's inside our house, not the one at the street. So that's going to be scheduled for next month as well, plus Christmas. And my son is at this age where he really wants all the techie stuff. So he really wants a virtual reality headset, which are kind of expensive. But he also wants toys. So and he also is really obsessed with the idea of a keytar. I don't even know where he got this idea, but he wants one. So we're letting him earn stickers, and he has to earn a certain number of sticker sheets full because they're like $400. I can't find them used. And now he's got a specific one that he wants that he has decided is the one. So he's got to earn a certain number of stickers from doing jobs or following directions. And then we're going to buy it. Of course, he's not actually earning real money from anyone else but us. So it's still our money. So he's working towards that, which he probably won't do that until after Christmas, which is fine. So my husband is at the office today. He's been working from home, which is really nice. And he keeps texting me because I didn't respond. Yeah, I can't figure out how to text on my watch right now. He'll just have to deal with it. So also at the thrift store the other day, I found a pound of fiber. They're not colors I would have chosen myself, but they are from Northwest Handspun Yarns, which is now Northwest Yarns in Bellingham. Potluck roving is what they were called. And I have actually used some of this to felt some pumpkins. I just pulled off and separated the colors. And then this one's called Mud Puddle. Accurate for around here. We got lots of those. And then one called Wild Rose. So I'm not sure if I'll spin those or felt them. But, you know, they were an amazing deal. I think someone had like donated a huge amount of stash. It was awesome. I didn't buy as much as I would have because like I said, I'm trying to keep it small. So that's my podcast. I think I'm done. It's been 36 minutes. I'm not editing anything. So yeah, now I have to clean up this mess and continue the laundry and then go sew more masks because my son said he would wear patterned masks and then I made him some and now he says, what if the kids make fun of me? So I need to make plain ones. Middle school is tough, especially for a special needs kid who is becoming aware of things but still not able to parse social interactions or understand a lot of that stuff. So it's pretty tough. Yeah. All right. Well, it was so fun to do this, and hopefully this uploads without any issues, and I will try to do links in the description, the drop down menu. I only have Ravelry links, so I'm really sorry if you can't access that. You could also just Google these patterns or makers, and I'm sure they have Instagrams or other websites. So have a wonderful day and week, and I will try and do this next week, though it is early release next week because of conferences. So I don't know if I will. No promises. I make absolutely no promises. Have a good day.